Chapter 10. Dealing with Senior Intelligence Consumers. Richard Betts argues that warning failures usually have one of two causes. Either warning data or assessments do not flow well through the intelligence system, or senior decision-makers reject warning messages that contradict their strategic estimates or assumptions. Most of this book has addressed aspects of the first problem. In this chapter, we consider the second problem and its consequences, and we discuss how intelligence can help senior decision-makers make fewer warning-related mistakes. Senior national leaders, elected as well as career civilian and military officials, are typically smart and experienced people who have overcome significant challenges to reach positions of significant authority. They have personal, political, and ideological agendas, and they virtually always have constituencies they want to reflect and please. They frequently work hard to convince reluctant audiences to support their programs, sometimes using intelligence selectively for this purpose. Senior political leaders of states and the military leaders of national armed forces are busy people. They tend to have little patience for wide-ranging philosophical discussions and give their intelligence people modest amounts of their time. They are confident people who need to, and like to, act decisively to further their agendas. Senior political leaders therefore like intelligence that supports their programs. Some appreciate warnings that their preferred policies may run into trouble, but others react in a viscerally negative way when intelligence delivers unwelcomed messages, attacking messengers as well as messages. In other cases, intelligence has difficulty gaining the attention of senior leaders when their focus lies elsewhere. Leaders are, therefore, differently inclined than are most intelligence analysts who self-select into jobs that require at least some reflection upon complex issues and are supposed to be, and usually are, politically neutral. John McLaughlin, a longtime CIA analyst and former deputy DCI, argues that these differences amount to a fundamental cultural difference between the worlds of intelligence and policymaking. A key job for intelligence professionals is to make the worlds interact in ways that primarily serve leaders but also are mutually beneficial. Senior political leaders often know a great deal about world affairs, but their knowledge is incomplete and sometimes misleads them when it is applied to new and different situations. Alexander George argues that U.S. presidents have different decision-making styles, and they differently use several techniques to reduce the tensions, the psychological costs, of making difficult decisions. As we have argued, warning is often about suggesting to leaders that they make decisions they would rather not make. Hence, understanding how specific leaders respond to stress can be the difference between persuasive and unpersuasive warning. Leaders misperceive world events based on limited information and often see events through their own cultural lenses, that is, they frequently mirror image. They make decisions based on an idiosyncratic personal understanding of history. Foreign policy analysts have documented that leaders frequently use historical analogies to both make decisions and to communicate them to their constituents, often in ways that purposefully or inadvertently misrepresent history or apply it in questionable ways. American political leaders tend to see foreign adversaries as latter-day Hitlers and difficult military situations as Vietnam-like quagmires, for example. Psychologists have demonstrated that people, including national political leaders, rely heavily on personal experiences when making decisions, and that they value information consistent with their beliefs, not necessarily their desires, more than information inconsistent with their perceptions or assumptions. They thereby demonstrate confirmation bias. As we saw in Chapter 8, this bias also is a major issue for analysts and a vulnerability that deceivers exploit. Confirmation bias in intelligence consumers adds to the challenges of warning specialists in two major ways. First, deceivers target decision-makers, not just intelligence analysts, thereby strengthening and/or distorting their misperceptions and making persuasive communications of warning messages more challenging. Second, selective confirmation biases tend to distort decision-makers' receptivity to intelligence generally. Hence, warning professionals should be especially alert to such biases in the leaders they serve and work to reduce them, a tough task that requires close relationships of mutual trust.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it. at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.